Hello and very wonderful morning to all my dear lovely students. I hope you all are doing well. Dear students, in this video, your Neema ma'am is going to discuss the question and answers of chapter 9, The Great Stone Face 1. These questions are from your NCERT practice workbook English Honeydew, class 8th. Right. So students, let us start. Please listen the answers very carefully and try to understand at the same time. Right. So the first one we have got very short answer type questions. All right, in which you have to give the answer to the point. In short, to the point. All right. So the very first question is, what happened when the spectator of the great stone face reached too close to it? And the answer to this question is, when the spectator reached too close to it, he lost the outline of the enormous face and could see only a heap of gigantic rocks. Right. Moving on to question number 2. Which kind of a lady Ernest's mother was? So we all know, students, that the answer of this question is Ernest's mother was an affectionate and thoughtful woman. Now, question number 3 is asking, what does Ernest tell his mother when she reveals the old prophecy? And the answer is Ernest, he was very excited, students, isn't it? So Ernest clapped his hands and said, I do hope that I shall live to see him. Question number 4. Who became a teacher to Ernest? And we all know that the title of the story, The Great Stone Face, became his teacher. Right. So, Great Stone Face, that was the ideal. It was ideal in his life for Ernest, and he was inspired, he was passionate, and he got the passion of living his life and to become a noblest person, and he did that at the end. Question number 5, students. Why did Ernest sadly turn away from the wrinkled face of Mr. Gathergold? And the answer is, Ernest sadly turned away from the wrinkled face of Gathergold because he did not see the likeness of the great stone face in Gathergold. That is why he was sad. Now moving on to short answer type questions. So the very first one in short answer type questions is, what was actually the great stone face? And the answer is, the great stone face is a work of nature formed on a perpendicular side of a mountain by some immense rock. It resembles the face of human, isn't it? It exactly resembles the face of human being. Now moving on to question number 2. What was the old prophecy? The old prophecy was that at some future day a child should be born here that was destined to become the greatest and noblest person. Moving on to question number 3. What kind of a child was Ernest? Kaisa bachcha tha Ernest? So Ernest was industrious, kind and neighborly. He was obedient and helped his mother in works. He had sentiments with the stone face. Now, question number 4. What rumors went around in the valley about Gathergold? The rumor was that the great man who was to bear a resemblance to the great stone face had appeared at last. Question number 5. What did Ernest's neighbor thought about him and his lifestyle? The answer to this question is, Ernest thought about him that he was folly. Right? They were thinking that he was folly. And why they were thinking that he was folly? Because he kept on looking at the great stone face, okay, for hours and hours. And people used to think that what is the need of just staring at that great stone face? Right, after his work, after winding up his work, he was staring at that great stone face. So, the answer is thought, neighbors thought about him that he was folly because it is also very, because he is also very industrious, kind and neighborly person. Okay, they were thinking that he is folly, but he was also very industrious, kind and neighborly person. Now students, question number 6. What happened to Mr. Gathergold's wealth before he died? Mr. Gathergold's wealth, which was considered the body and spirit of his existence, had disappeared before his death. So you see, at the end, nothing remains with us. It is only our nature, our good nature, our words, kind words that remain with us. So always be good. Question number 7. Why was the soldier, now commander, known as the Blood and Thunder? And the answer to this question is the soldier, after a great deal of hard worships and struggle, was now known as the Blood and Thunder. Okay. Now students, see, we have got long answer type questions. Okay. So in this one, the very first question is, who all were the contenders to become the likeness of the great stone face? Did prophecy come true? So the answer is Mr. Gathergold and later Blood and Thunder were the contenders to become the likeness of the great stone face. No, the prophecy didn't come true because there was someone else to become the likeness of the great stone face. Right. Now question number 2. Why did the people assume the two people they did to be the likeness of the great stone face? And the answer is the people assumed the two people to be the likeness of the great stone face because these people left the valley years back and now returned as noblest person. And people believed that there must be the incarnation of great stone face. Right? Moving on to question number 3. What qualities of the great stone face make him an object of great admiration? And the answer is the great stone face made him an object of great admiration because it was a work of nature made out of perfection on a hill. The great stone face resembled the features of a human face. It seemed to be alive to everyone having a glance at it from a particular distance. Right? So that face was having enthusiasm. That face was a motivating face. Okay, it could it could raise the inner human being from your insight that you can do, you could do, you can reach the heights, you could do something in your life. Students, moving on to extract based questions. So I'll read out the extract for you first and then we will move on to the questions. Okay. Ernest never forgot the story that his mother told him. It was always in his mind whenever he looked upon the great stone face. He spent his childhood in the log cottage where he was born, was dutiful to his mother, and helped to her in many things, assisting her much with her little hands and more with his loving heart. Now, students, we have some questions based on the extract. Okay, so the first question is, what does this extract describe? So we can clearly see that this extract describes the life of a boy named Ernest and his mother. Right? There is also a mention of a story that was told to Ernest by his mother. Question number 2. How did Ernest spend his childhood? So the answer is he spent his childhood in the log cottage and also helped his mother in doing household chores. Okay. Third one. What did Ernest never forget? So, students' answer for this question is Ernest never forgot the story which his mother narrated him. Okay, he never forgot though that story. Now, students, next we have got choose a collective noun from the passage. So, collective noun from the passage, and we have options obedient, cottage, submissive, forgetful. And the right answer for this one is cottage, isn't it? It is a collective noun from the passage. Choose the antonym of great. Antonym matlab opposite. So we have four options: ordinary, loving, extraordinary, dutiful. And of course, great means mahan, very great, isn't it? Means having a wonderful personality with all the good qualities. Okay, extraordinary work. And iska opposite will be ordinary, mamuli. Now we have one more extract, students. I'll read out for you. The years went on and Ernest grew to be a young man. He attracted little notice from the inhabitants of the valley. They saw nothing remarkable in in his way of life except that when the labor of the day was over, he still loved to gaze upon the great stone face. Their idea was that this was a folly but pardonable because Ernest was industrious, kind, and neighborly. Now, students, some questions based on this extract. The first one: why did Ernest attract little notice from the inhabitants? And the answer to this question is Ernest attracted little notice from the inhabitants because he used to love gaze upon the great stone face, and they believed this was that he is a folly, but he was pardonable because of his kind behavior, right? What was considered a folly in Ernest? So the answer is early Ernest's passion to gaze upon the great stone face was considered a folly in Ernest. Now the third one: did people dislike him for this? No. People did not dislike him because Ernest was industrious, kind, and neighborly. See, students, if you are always humble, you are good in talking, you are very good by nature, you are intelligent, and then if you do naughty, then that can be ignored, right? Or then your some negative points or your drawbacks could be just ignored. But if you are not good in studies also, and you are not knowledgeable, you are not talking nicely to people, and you are not living hygienically, then of course no one will like you, no one would appreciate you. Okay, question number 4 now of question number 2, part 4 of question number 2. Choose one adjective. We know adjective, it is a describing word that is not used to describe Ernest in the text. Okay. So we have options. Business like, yes, it is described. Generous, yes. Folly, also it is described. Wealthy. Wealthy is not described. Okay. So wealthy is the right answer. Now, fifth one, choose the synonym means the same word of folly, and we very well know it is stupidity. Okay, stupidity is the right answer. Now, students, fill in the blanks. So, I'll read out the sentences for you. Ernest's mother had told him about the old. Yes, the answer is prophecy. Gathergold decided to go back and settle in his native valley. Answer is valley. The great stone face became we all know it was a teacher to Ernest. Teacher to Ernest. Blood and Thunder was a soldier. Fifth one, he was another son of the valley. Now, students, we have imagination based questions, okay, which you have to do it on your own. So, you just think and write down the answers I'll be discussing in my online class. Thank you very much and have a good day.